Welcome to another episode of NeoFly for career done in very unique way. Last episode we took off from Ambunti and landed in Inaru airstrip where we currently are right now.
Yes, what a butter smooth landing. Come on, let's go.
Today we are flying to Goroka. Let's jump into NeoFly for details. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the main job from Inaru to Goroka, but I was able to buy some fuel in Inaru and we can sell it in Goroka. I bought 21 units of fuel and on one unit we can make over $700 profit, which is great. According to Litle Navmap, we need 675 pounds of fuel for this trip. On board we have 762 pounds, so it's more than enough. Let's have a look at our flight plan for today. Today we're not going to use our GPS in our G1000 at all. Litle Navmap will guide us all the way to the airport and we're going to fly heading mode only. We are not going to have any vertical guidance also, and that's going to make our landing even more difficult. Flying this way with Litle Navmap I found super more interesting as you are busy at all times. Our cruising altitude for today going to be 11,000 feet and the flight shouldn't take us longer than an hour and 15 minutes. Okay, let's jump into our Kodiak and let's get out of here. This is our cargo for today. 7,100 pounds is our weight for today, so we are very heavy and we need a lot of runway, so it's gonna be interesting. Okay, let's start it up. A fuel tank selectors can come on. Firewall shut off.
Power, avionics, our lights can come on. Gonna turn on our fuel pump, ignition and starter. We're gonna do low start for today. We're watching our NG. Once it's above 14%, we can introduce our fuel.
Everything looks good from where I'm sitting. Taxi to the runway and take off.
Now we're gonna wait till our ITT spikes. Once it spikes, we can turn off our starter, ignition, put our fuel pump into standby position, turn on our generator and alternator, and push our prop fully forward. Our shrub light and a taxi light can come on. Now let's put our destination into the G1000. That's only for, I would like to see the distance, what's left to Goroka on my display. That's why I'm doing this. Let's put in our altitude. It's gonna be 11,000 feet for today. That's done. Today we're gonna climb with flight level change. Our speed for climbing is gonna be 111 knots. If you don't know what flight level change is, it's basically speed of your climbing, and autopilot will adjust your angle of climbing to maintain your 111 knots. Let's put in our speeds. Our takeoff speed for today is gonna be 65 knots. And the landing speed is gonna be about 75 knots. Gonna turn on our vents. No air conditioning for takeoff because we need torque. I don't know if you know, if you use air conditioning you have less power during the takeoff. We need a lot of torque for today because we are heavy and the runway is short. Okay, let's taxi away.
Okay guys, this video is going to be longer than usual. It's going to be more like a tutorial. My last two NeoFly videos, as you know, was more like a roleplay kind of movie style with lots of outside camera angles. But I would like to keep the balance on my channel and give people more value so they can get entertained and also learn something. In some videos we're gonna go deeper into NeoFly, and in the other videos we're gonna go deeper into Litle Navmap, and in some videos we're gonna teach people how to fly Kodiak. So the balance is kept. And by the way, I don't know if you knew, SimWorks Studios is working on Pilatus PC12 right now, and I honestly cannot wait for it. It's gonna be amazing.
Okay, let's set up our trims. Our pitch, we don't need too much because I've put it most of the way to the front of the aircraft, so I'm gonna go 15 to 20% here. Now the rudder trim. Kodiak 100 needs a lot of right rudder. The engine in Kodiak is so powerful, it pulls the aircraft to the left a lot. I like to set up my rudder trim 40 clicks to the right. I've done a lot of test takeoffs and 40 clicks to the right works best for me. You can try it out, maybe it's going to be good for you too. I like to do 2 aileron clicks to the right, but this is completely up to you. You don't have to. This is purely my preference. Okay, let's switch off our taxi lights, turn on our landing lights, and we are ready for our takeoff. Oops, go back. Our conditioning lever, we almost forgot about it, needs to go to high idle. Our torque for takeoff is gonna be 1680, and we're gonna start rotating at 65 knots. Knots, continuing. .65 knots and rotate.
Enjoy your personal flight, pilot. You can search for more jobs after you land.
Once you reach your takeoff speed, you want to gently pull your yoke or joystick, depends what you're flying on, and wait till the aircraft actually rotates it itself. Then after takeoff you want to keep your nose down a bit. Once you reach 85 knots and 400 feet above the ground, then you can reduce your first notch of flaps. Nose of the aircraft will drop, so you want to start trimming immediately. Once you're still climbing and you are above 95 knots, you can reduce your flaps completely. We're going to hand fly it for a while till we climb above these mountains on the left, and then we're gonna engage autopilot. Okay, let's sync our heading, turn on the autopilot, turn on the heading mode, and as you remember we have flight level change active, and the autopilot now will adjust angle of the climbing to maintain our 111 knots. In this stage we can pull our prop lever back to 2000 RPM, but do not make the same mistake I've done here. If you look closely, I've pulled the prop lever back before I reduced the torque. By doing this, our torque spiked to yellow, and this is very bad. So first you have to reduce the torque a bit and then pull the prop lever back to 2000 RPM. Kodiak always keeps you busy, so let's fix our rudder trim now. As you can see, little line below the triangle is not synchronized, so we need to keep clicking the rudder trim till that little line is synchronized with the triangle. Otherwise we lose in speed and performance. Okay, we are coming to 10,000 feet mark. Let's put on our oxygen mask, as this is simulated in the aircraft also. As you can see in our Litle Navmap, we still have a long way to go. I'm gonna skip ahead and I will talk to you soon, guys. we are more than halfway to Goroka. Let's set up our altitude. It's gonna be 6,200 feet. This is 1,000 feet above ground in Goroka. As we are in heading mode already, we can set up our OBS also. Our runway heading is 350. Okay, we started our descent already. We coming to the last couple turns, and our runway for today is 35 left. Okay, let's make our left turn into the valley here, and once we pass this mountain on the left, we're gonna go into a turn to our final. Next time I will record Litle Navmap in a separate window, so then I can put it on the screen and you can see it at all times. And by the way, let me know if this video is watchable, and if you have any suggestions what I could change, you're more than welcome to let me know in the comment section below. Okay, we are coming to our final turn. In this stage we can push our prop back to 2200 RPM and turn on our landing lights. Okay, let's make our final turn, and unfortunately the wind has changed. We have a bit of tailwind. Maximum tailwind for Kodiak for landing is 10 knots. We only have 3 or 4 knots tailwind, so we should be fine here. Once we are established with our runway heading, we can start slowing down, and once we are below 138 knots, we can start lowering our flaps. In this stage we are on our final. We can lower more flaps, disengage autopilot, turn off flight director, and hand fly it from here. Hopefully you can hear the noise in the background, because people are outside my window cutting the grass and they're making a lot of noise, so I want to apologize for that if you can hear it. Okay, we lowered our last notch of flaps. Our ideal speed here would have been 75 knots, and that's what we have right now. We need to be very careful with torque. Kodiak 100 is very sensitive. And be careful when you lower your torque, because you can just drop out of the sky. That's what happened to me in my first video I posted 2 weeks ago. You can check it out if you want, but don't please. 75 knots. We are a bit too low. 70 knots. Unfortunately we're gonna land before the runway threshold, but now last adjustments. Now flare.
We have touchdown.
I will take it. I'm happy with that. Okay, we reached Goroka. Welcome. Now let's park our aircraft and let's sell our fuel.
Okay, we've made some profit on it. It's always something. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up, maybe even consider subscribing to the channel, or just do nothing. Thank you very much again, and I speak to you next time. Goodbye.